So case and then the K?
You'll both have it. Is everyone ready? Multiple CEDA impacts coming out of the quantity versus the Cooper average indicates that black is always hyper-incarcerated, that the women with 2% industrial conflict, which is always target black Latino bodies, which is ultimately going to be resolved by the Middleton and the Gulf evidence. The second impact is the anti which the white gaze is always upon the white body people how treatment Martin was always harder because of his blackness there. Alternatively, never come to grips with this because they not resolve the psychic violence impact of the one which indicates that conflict people have methodology survival. They do not produce a mechanism survival that allows the black body to escape their conditions. They're just an intellectual FYI that not as trying to become an expert. We said that survival strategies are necessary. They do not provide what should be the framing for your ballot B. Also, the Middleton evidence of K3 words to why poetry uniquely good A resolve issues of is visibility allows people to engage in the issue of political sphere, which is impacted by the modern political homelessness argument, which indicates that black people always be harmed by the political, which only one is able to resolve the integration back into the political. Also, the second work of the Middleton card is it leads to coalitional building, which is probably going to resolve back the criticism, because she indicates that it's not just a question of how poetry is used, the question of race, but how poetry should be used to bring together all different modes of repression and create a type of working approaches then be able to resist these dominant modes of thinking, which is why poetry is uniquely essential in their understanding of how poetry cannot be used by everything is inherently anthropocentric to assume that the non-human other cannot engage in these forms. What is the anthropocentric in the first place? The third word from this card, I think I said the coalition, or the self-determination card, which is all called the second balance impact. The first two arguments indicates that the ableist return they by rejecting us for the usage of one term creates a bad form of education in which we ultimately punish people instead of educating them, which ultimately turn back any type of education and turn back to ableist instead of not reach reject the question of education. We also they take a form of scriptal centrism in which we only focus on one word and ignore the entirety of the one. You see, that is the how black is always criminalized because you look at one issue that's focusing the entirety, which ultimately means you recriminalize black. Also, we use one instead of different conception there. Everyone's talking about when you use that word in a way to to negatively target people who are not about the context of the one. You see, there are always different definitions of the word. Also, their arguments ignore how blackness functions and disabilities is very intense. These scholars are convinced that social school discipline correct today not to despite these similar scholars to engage to that sort of syndicate to be able to work someone need and not some person in race that people else can pronounce the way race and scholars are looking by masses too and now the system where hierarchy the mountains of access and pressure or disability from universal analysis of disability center God seeming interchangeable law versus the fears or evils like themselves and disability as college and grab the wage versus disability function discussion of white privilege all human rights practices because we grab the university time to go and I'm to avoid it. The next really makes how performance of aesthetics field A, this is how performance of aesthetics would be all the reasons as to why the Middleton analysis about fair answers back here not performance. We said that we then need to political I don't finish the Middleton ever too, but she indicates political that poetry must be political. The first is made flammable did more tangible action poetry to maybe help names and names to be thought when writing not a perfect disprover system but repeated certain providers of where can be signed becomes a collective act to simplify freeing oneself from the government of history approximating to me to important to write to write with the written act to be I remember the poets are digging for their be free as long as we free poetry is possible each where we breathe has eventual and interbind for causes places of love creation the continuous with the dissemination by culture straight out of direction and not you do not write about it because it did not exist in reference black culture we need to be corrected or not for different race black culture this comes to the courts writing black queer religion threat around the ritual of the gender class sexual revenue holders and laws behind the work and black manufacturing invisible inscription resistance law under record we really invisible and fighting work for self-determination self-determination cohesion and coalition although the libertures speech act dismantle structure demasking public education has been practically making the world around their own neighbors fulfill the work has been clinical day love story must be learned astrology the act of community the full academic work the institutional states are producing more visible everyday music with the reasons meant to be gained in theories method practice and all communications where representation of their condition kind of circle academic space where space lab experience resolver answers with spirit to the valid to academic non-academic to engage with their textbook used for writing poetry method consciousness impact turns their last case argument where she indicates the last time that those kids in the academic space might be a privileged space but it's a necessary space that when you try to remove yourself from the academy then it destroys the consciousness reasoning which is the internal link to a result of determination of psychic violence that means we impact this also this modification is inevitable that is Moten's argument there's always been extrinsic value from the poem that is our argument that you do not know what King was writing or feeling when he wrote the poem. There's not a question of the extrinsic value, it's a question of the intrinsic value of the poet gets with writing, which means those impacts are not and then also pathologization that said you blame Kevon for the bad shit that the academy does is ultimately a victim blaming mentality which ultimately reintroduces the white gaze impact go to they group all humans into one category, which is problematic because you assume that a white person and a black person start from the same category. The next argument is that root cause rates do not matter, even if they win a root cause question of how we survive with the status quo. Their alternative is not going to be actually materially be able to be able to happen, but what we can do is use poetry. Also, if they make an argument as to why the animals cannot, or the non-human other cannot engage in poetry, that is only a link back to your own criticism. This creates a double bind. Either the all expresses for the animal, so there is some level of anthropocentric which is necessary, or which means the one is the same method, or you only produce anthropocentrism, which means it's inevitable. Also, there are multiple ways to just actually race should come first. Animal, their liberation fails to achieve changes in reckless collective in one. The central tax rate technical system white privilege supported people called this not saying white supremacy support oppression. Institutions based on the non history designed to attack American women, exploit the blues, government stability, white supremacy melting, and creating revolution possibilities. The evolution, whether however difficult to imagine, capable of which we can say power for a new side of all revolution may. Upon religion not for any rights must consider the revolution strategy also does not resolve the psychic violent impact of the one they see that the case may also their page is false. The permutation is the best option. They only re-entrench the binaries, Jackson and Levin, the animal study scholarship, CEDA, conflict between human and animal suffering, exploitation, human to say colonization, same factor, freedom, do unspeakable, inhabitants, non-analogous, and not human, and animal suffering, not useful, nation, animals, everything, more price, animal, we are enforcing animalization of people, free animals, from human Americans, we're not producing recognition, human suffering, express the role of human beings, who's under my the conversation which happened also, even if they would have recalled, probably proves how they are the anti-blackness and such immediately intertwined, so if we do decrease, anti-blackness would be resolved and decreasing anti-potential, they have to prove a link as to how we make these status quo worse. Also, the permutation is best, it's abandonment of humanism. This is Hartman in 97. The slavery use of animals to treat as the master prophet has never done any good. He conveyed just things to survive, they take over to liberty, color, culture, to freedom, and political question, the religious and two blacks with human rights and the discourse of humanism was a double-edged sense of life, and liberty, self-liberation, time of denial from the recognition, humanity, better than deliberating, question, redeeming, what's up to find the morale, transfer, second, giving long, safe, prison, the same man, consequences of the reason why the certain liberties, the look, the word, the word, confined word, they were enslaved, and they literally ignore the devouring of black flesh. That is problematic because they ignore how black people have literally been eaten. This is Woodard in 14. Science also to reality, enslaved person describes slavery outgrowth of the master monarchy and the concept of after being enslaved black men and women are constantly described as incident human consumption and are literally a literal metaphorical and institutional level of social interactions. The master's human flesh, population, there's hunger for human flesh, and naked bodies with the often bondage, this is rape, sexual torture, sexual hunger, essentially the white message to act up for desires of black women and the white manifestation of black male fertility, ignoring how scholars use things like the sake of ignore those cannibalization of black Americans. I take the enslaved person became human consumption, considers black experience consumption homoerotic. Also, their alternative always push black people to the back burner. It's always me a white middle class movement to mock on Basel 5, given the sheer amount of machine to take out girl after all, keeping the press well, making people should be senior cover and stuff with how white the cover the next day, however, homes going to war, and represent nowadays. We have moments in North race and powerful civilization use public countries to justify European invasion to gentlemen and Americans and any immigrant European workers, less concentrated, and as much as fabric among the white descent, we're playing race shared opportunity, not technological history, African just multicultural race of a few privileged whites and formerly humane who didn't kept right with northern flight slaves. I remark that part of the slave screens also we should transgress these binaries only. And negative is going to reinforce those binaries. Also, we disrupt with the notion of humanism, the notion of humanism, performance of the 1AC. The 1AC has lots of examples of how black people have always been grouped within the animals, so to ignore how to have survival strategies to that group is to ultimately destroy the movement. Also, your alternative cannot resolve the queer futures, which Gunn's talking about. She would indicate that all oppressed bodies, which include the non-human others, should come together in a kind of queer utopia, create survival mechanism. You deny that, for instance, a bird taking flight is a poetic. You assume that poetry is just the words that we speak and not the actions that we take.
Okay, my first question is, you said poetry is good. You had 3 reasons. The first one was resolving issues of visibility. The second was coalition building. The third one was what?
Self-determination. Self-determination.
And what is self-determination?
Well, in Moten's sense, he would argue that because black people do not have access to the law, they're stuck in a constant state of pessimism.
Okay, what does it mean to have access to the law? Because obviously none of us have access to the law in this, debate space.
Sure, it's not necessarily, I guess, his argument is not necessarily that it's like black people can't, engage in law. It's that the law is used to export violence upon black bodies.
Okay, that makes sense. What does it mean for commodification to be inevitable in terms of the way that it's describing?
Sure. So this is explained both in Middleton and Moten. Moten indicates that black performances will always be assigned some extrinsic value that will be commodified and probably
Some
used on that.
extrinsic or
Extrinsic.
okay.
He says that because extrinsic value is inevitable, we should not be concerned with that. We should only be concerned with the intrinsic
So we
value
shouldn't be
that the
concerned
poet
with
gets.
the way that performance.
Yo, everything is
recognition
commodified already. Also, the fact that you are
So
saying,
why does
sorry,
that
the fact that you're telling a black man that you should be rejected because white people are gonna do bad shit with their poetry is the exact victim blaming that Yancey is talking about.
Okay, how?
What do you mean how? You literally looked at Kayvon and the one at T, you're like, hey, your shit's gonna be commodified.
It's the same
so wait, so
reason
hold on.
George Zimmerman used for
So
shooting
just making
Trayvon,
an
the
argument.
black criminal. He was
So
wearing a black
any
hoodie.
criticism
Does it make
of a
sense?
black person is
No, it's
No.
your criticism.
No, it's
the one
commodification.
you're doing.
You were saying he should be
You're
rejected.
blaming me for commodification. It's clear cut.
So
You're blaming him for what white people do.
sure, I still don't understand why it's not a reason. If commodification is inevitable, why is that not a reason to just vote negative on criticism?
It's like
It's
that's
not a
blaming me for
rejection, it's
being
just that you
black.
have done nothing.
Why is it
That's
maybe
literally
not
you're fucking
negative?
blaming me for being black. Do you realize
No,
what
we're
you're
saying that the way you
So
done
the
the
way that I
you said your
perform-
Wednesday scholarship is bad.
So what? So the way that I read some poetry, right?
No, that's not the argument. The argument is not how you read the poetry.
No, it's because I said some words that were attached to my identity.
All right, that's fine.
That's
You make the argument that academic spaces in universities are already violent. What does the 1AC do to challenge that?
We're a question of survival, obviously, that we cannot resolve all
Right.
the academic
Sure.
settings.
Academia does
Is
not
there
understand our argument
is there anything whatsoever that the affirmative even
Yes.
attempts?
Sure,
Yes.
that's the last line of the Middleton card. The academic space and freedom allows a privileged space. However, it ensures that our lived experiences are validated through
Okay.
publishing and allows us
That's
for
the
other
question.
Why is
academics,
coalition
non-academics to
building-
engage with our text and
why is
continue furthering
coalition
ideas,
building- can I-
theories, poetry, and methods of
Why
content.
is coalition building good?
Why is coalition building good?
Yeah.
Sure, she indicates that there are a multitude of oppressions that come in, like anthropocentrism, heteronormativity,
talks about
capitalism.
anthropocentrism?
What?
Where does that piece of evidence speak?
She talks about all
All
these.
capitalism causes various aspects of anarchy.
She lists a bunch of
Capitalism
different
causes
It
anarchy.
also says that we should repress.
Correct?